The CDC recommends that adults over the age of 50 get 2 doses of the shingles vaccine called Shingrix, separated by about 2 to 6 months, and the shots are given in your upper arm. But does Medicare cover these vaccines? Well, let's dive right into that. Medicare will typically cover a majority of vaccines under preventative care for a $0 copay, but the shingles vaccine is a little bit different. For some reason, Medicare does not cover it under your traditional Medicare Parts A and Medicare Parts B. In the Medicare world, you'll typically find some things are covered under original Medicare, Medicare Parts A and Medicare Parts B, which covers typically medical costs like hospitalizations, doctor's appointments, doctor's bills, durable medical equipment, et cetera, in the medical world. But you also have something that's known as Medicare Part D. The way that I would think of that is Medicare Part D, D stands for drugs. Medicare Part D is essentially prescription drug coverage, prescriptions that you get filled at a pharmacy, prescriptions that you take home and typically do on your own accord in most situations. For some reason, Medicare, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, to be more specific, have determined that the shingles vaccination is not to be covered under Medicare Part A or Part B like maybe the flu shot would, or some other types of vaccines that you'll typically find, but it's going to be covered under Medicare Part D. And typically in most situations, it's covered as a Tier 3 in a lot of plans. Not all over the place, not everywhere, but a lot of times it is in most situations. Typically what this means is if you have a Medicare Part D plan at all, that's what's going to cover your vaccine costs for the shingles vaccine. However, typically if you have a Medicare Part D plan, depending on where you might live in the country, if it is covered as a Tier 3, you'll typically find that the Medicare Part D plan might have some kind of deductible. A lot of cases, it might be $100 a year, $200 a year, $300, maybe even $400 a year. And if your Medicare Part D deductible has not been met or satisfied over the course of the year, you might end up paying full cost of the shingles vaccine. Even if it's not met, in a lot of places in the country, a lot of times your Tier 3 copays might be around $30, $40, maybe even $50 for that shingles vaccination. So a lot of times people are expecting it to be free like a lot of other vaccines. In most cases, it's not. That is the main reason why, is because Medicare has determined that it's to be covered under the Medicare Part D section of your coverage and not Medicare Parts A and Part B. So if you have a Medicare Part D plan, that's what would be helping pay for your shingles vaccine. But don't be surprised if you end up paying full cost because of a potential deductible you might have not satisfied, depending on the type of plan you might have. This is also obviously going to vary on where you live in the country, whether you have a Medicare Advantage plan that has your Part D included, or whether you have a Medicare Supplement plan with the Part D plan included in the side. But this is essentially how that shingles shot is covered. In my opinion, I think it's kind of ridiculous. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I think it should be covered similarly to some other vaccines. And we get a lot of people that complain. The problem is since this is actually something that is mandated by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, it's going to be the same no matter which insurance company you go with or which type of Medicare plan you go with. If it's a Medicare plan in general, expect it to be covered under your Medicare Part D and not Medicare Parts A and B like some other vaccines. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it answered your question quick, fast, and in a hurry. If it did, do me a favor, drop a like on the video so more people like you can find it easier. It helps us out so much, helping more people just like you get these answers quick, fast, and in a hurry. Make sure to hit the subscribe button so that way you are notified anytime we post Medicare educational videos just like this. Drop a comment. What do you think about this? Do you think this should be covered under Medicare Part A and B under preventative care for no copay? Do you think it's fine the way it is? We'd love to hear your comments on it, and we'll be responding to each and every one of them. Thanks so much for watching. We'll be back next time. Have a great day.